Well, shall we get this started?
I guess so.
Great. Well, I'm Piper.
I'm Grace.
Welcome to the What Do You Think podcast.
Yes. Welcome back.
What have you been? I was going to say, what have you been up to?
Oh my gosh.
You're redoing your house.
Yeah, renovating.
Your home that you bought, yeah.
Yeah, we bought quite a fixer-upper. Old 1923 house, so we've been redoing the living room and kitchen, living room, everything really. So trying to get everything done so I can decorate for fall and feel good about it.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for fall. We've made the decision that we know it's going to be 80 degrees in September, but it's going to be fall starting September 1st. Yep. My favorite season.
So good.
Goodness, I miss it. Yeah. I'm so excited. I have so many movies and TV shows I've been wanting to watch and rewatch, but I have to wait until the fall because that's when it's time to watch them.
Yep. Yeah, I had to buy Gilmore Girls because got kicked out of my parents' Netflix.
That's like the most necessary fall watch.
Gilmore Girls and Anne of Green Gables. That's what I need.
I didn't grow up watching Anne of Green Gables.
Really?
I grew up listening to it.
Okay.
So Focus on the Family, I think, maybe.
Yep.
Did like a dramatized reading of it, and it was really good.
Yeah.
They did the whole Narnia series too, and they were actually really good.
We own both.
And fun to listen to. So I listened to all of the Anne of Green Gables, and I used to love it, but I never watched the movie. Not until I was an adult, and I was like, why is Gilbert so hot though?
Oh my gosh.
Not to be like, but really, like, as a grown woman, I was like, why is he so attractive?
I know. Although, did you watch the third one?
No, actually.
Okay, he's not as attractive in the third one, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
But like young Gilbert.
Oh, he was such a cutie with his
just
little curls, his little freckles. And then I learned
kids.
that's like a phenomenon, that like every woman in the world like had a crush on Gilbert.
Oh, yeah.
When they were growing up.
You just have to.
I just missed that train, man.
You did. That was a good time.
Yeah.
How have you been?
I've been good. 18 weeks. So I finally let myself start researching some pregnancy things, and I dove super into the hole. I was texting my mom about it today, that I'm at the point now, and I'm proud of myself because it shows growth, that I have learned all I need to learn about pregnancy things and baby things and new baby things, and now it's time to stop. Because if I continue to overload myself with this research, I'm just going to get overwhelmed, and I'm going to get obsessive, and I'm going to start panicking that I'm not doing it all well. Like, I have never been more confident in my body than when I've been pregnant, to be honest with you. That's awesome. I've been very comfortable. I've been eating what I want, but still, stocking my home with healthy, good things, and we'll talk about that. But I have felt so like at peace and not stressed, and even my husband will tell you I've just felt great. And I've noticed, like in the past week, when I've been listening to all these podcasts that are talking about eating clean and exercising and what that looks like and healthy things, that I'm becoming anxious and self-conscious, like looking at myself and what I'm doing,
comparing yourself,
and not in a healthy way, not in like I should make that change. There have been some of those things that I've noticed, but I'm like, okay, I know what I need to know, and now we're going to take a step back. I am really busy with work as well, and so ready to dive back into that. I'm really enjoying being creative around my home and painting things, and the nursery's been really fun to put together, and it's inspired me to re-nest in my house, so do home improvement projects. It's been fun.
Yeah. Awesome. That's great.
So that's kind of me. Right now I'm almost halfway done with the pregnancy, which is nuts.
That's crazy.
I know. Nugget popped finally, so I have a little baby bump.
It's around. Proof it's there.
I feel like it's huge. Grace says it's not big. She's like, just wait.
You'll get there.
She's like, just
It'll
wait.
get a little bigger.
It's not very big right now, but that's okay. It's cute.
Yes, it is.
I've been honestly very much looking forward to this podcast because I love talking about health and all health things.
We said on our Instagram, we had you guys put in questions for health related stuff, because Piper and I both deal with gut issues and all that good stuff, and we love to talk about it, honestly.
We really do.
Well, should we go straight into it?
I guess we should. We wanted to talk about so many things, so we just asked you guys what you thought.
Yeah.
And we got so many good questions I really hope this doesn't turn into a super long podcast. We're going to try our best.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to give this disclaimer before we started. We are not being sponsored for any links or products or supplements or anything that we recommend or say that we use. We're teeny tiny podcast. No one's sponsoring us. We're not being paid. This is literally just us saying what we use and what we would recommend for all y'all out there.
Genuine stuff that we like.
On that note, I can start with the first question. This isn't really a question. Well, it is. Someone asked, what are your skin and hair products you guys use? Because you all both look so good. And that was very sweet.
I hate my skin. What a compliment.
You hate your skin?
My skin's just really dry and tough.
You have such beautiful porcelain skin. What are you talking about?
Well, it's dry. So, like, I don't have pores, which is great. So I don't get a lot of, like, zits or anything. Yeah. But it's so dry, everything cakes onto my skin. It's my only complaint.
I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
Do you use, what skincare?
Oh my gosh.
What do you use?
That's what I'm trying to think of. I don't know if I really do anything. So I know I use like a all natural like bar for my face, but I honestly don't remember what the brand is.
No, that's okay.
And then I use the Ordinary products.
Ah, that's what I use.
Yeah. I use their rosemary oil and their hyaluronic acid every day. So that kind of exfoliates my skin. And then I'm always looking for natural, like, small company moisturizers, so I don't even know what brand I'm using at the moment, but I also do, like, Honest Company.
My mom just bought me some for my pregnancy.
Moisturizer. Yeah.
Some body wash and face wash for my pregnancy.
That's what we use for Ruth.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I also use the Ordinary for my skin, and I use their cleanser and 2 different serums, and I'm drawing a blank, but it's hydrating. Keeps my skin looking fresh and glowy.
Yeah.
So I use both of those, and I use their moisturizer.
Nice.
Moisturizer.
Their moisturizer's great. I need to get that stuff again.
And the best thing about them is that they're like literally a pin dot of the soap. So you get one. It's not expensive. It's extremely cheap. It's extremely clean. It's one of the only brands out there that's super clean, and it'll last you forever. Even if you use it, which I just use it. I will say there's a tip for me. I do not wash my face unless I've been wearing makeup. If I'm doing my day-to-day and I go 4 days without makeup and stuff, I do not touch my face because there's no reason, because you're wiping off all the good things on your face and all the good oils and healthy oils, and that's a super crunchy thing to say, but I think we wash and serumize ourselves too much. So to be honest, I don't put a ton of stuff on my face unless I've worn makeup, and then I wash my face.
Yeah, especially for me with dry skin, if I wash my face every day, I'm just crusty all the time. And I barely wear makeup, so yeah. And I don't do makeup wipes either. I always do oil and those reusable makeup wipes.
Oh, I do use makeup wipes.
I do in a pinch,
from
like
the
if I'm
TJ Maxx.
Oh yeah.
They're nothing fancy. I will say I never wipe off my face with my cheap makeup wipes that I use. Yeah. And leave it. I always wash. So if I wipe off with the cheap, I always wash it off with my clean stuff. So none of that makeup wipe, none of the essence of the makeup wipe is staying on my face, because that stuff is not good, but it gets the makeup off. Yeah, and that's what I needed to do.
It's true.
So that was a good one. Yeah. And I know you guys are going to hate me, but I don't use anything in my hair. I'm just going to be honest.
At all?
No.
Just shampoo?
Well, like I shampoo, but I literally use Suave.
But
I literally just shampoo, and then every 3 washes I condition with like Suave, like regular. But I don't use any sort of serum, any sort of... That's the one thing I'll brag on myself with. I do have gorgeous hair. I've got beautiful hair, and it's just natural. Yeah. To be honest with you. I drink lots of water. I spend lots of time in the sun.
That's my issue.
Drinking water. I didn't used to drink water, and then I got pregnant, and I became thirsty all the time.
That does happen.
So now I drink a ton of water, but I've always had nice hair. I don't know why.
Yeah, you have.
I don't know why.
Your mom has nice hair, too.
She does. My mom's a goddess. Yeah, she's beautiful. She really is. I know. She's Heather. We love her. She's ridiculous. Ridiculously beautiful. So it's probably all from her. Yeah. All from my mom. And my dad has good hair, too.
That's true.
I just have good genes. That's the answer. Genes. I have good genes.
My family has very fine hair.
But if you want to take good care of your hair, try not to use heat on it all the time. I mean, that's a very basic thing, but maybe that's it. I used to never use a hair dryer. I would I would let it air dry. I'd wash it, I'd towel dry it, I'd go to sleep with it wet. So I really hardly ever used a hair dryer, and then I would occasionally put like a curling wand or something to it. Yeah. But I really hardly ever use heat on my hair until the past year or so, when I cut my hair really short, and then I started drying it and curling it pretty frequently.
The shorter your hair is, I can't go without blow drying mine.
Oh, no. Yeah, it looks really bad.
Yeah.
It looks really bad.
Yeah. When you have short hair and don't blow dry, it's just
Di situation. It's not good. No shade to Princess Di. Beautiful woman, but we can all agree. Yeah. The hair was something else.
It was rough.
Anyway. So that's the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a good start out question. How do y'all balance the boundary / standard of balance for your health? So I guess like 80-20 lifestyle. Like what is that? If that's what we're talking about, how do you balance that?
Man. I go by Scrunchy Mom.
What is Scrunchy Mom?
That is where a good chunk of our lifestyle is very natural. I do all organic. Try not to do fast food in restaurants. But at the same time, I'm okay with like chicken nuggets every now and then, or Chick-fil-A, or it's you can't always give 100%. It's just exhausting. And when you're always striving for 100%, you're just like, for me at least, I'm just constantly in anxiety overdrive.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
And like if I give my daughter a Chick-fil-A nugget, I'm like, oh my gosh, I failed today, even though the rest of her meals were all organic and all homemade. So Scrunchy Mom is just like, I can do both, but I try and strive for as healthy as we can afford, at least. That's something my counselor had to work me through. He was noticing how my commentary was always like coulda, woulda, shoulda. Just with my health, of like, maybe I'm not doing enough, or I'm not eating the right stuff all the time. And then he's like, well, we've been reading through your journal entries and everything. He's like, you're doing your best. It's just every now and then you're okay with like taking a break because you need it 100%. And getting fast food, or we don't do all organic cotton clothing for everything. Like we do secondhand a lot, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, Ruth needs to have 100% cotton, non-toxic. We just do what we can. So that's Scrunchy.
You do what you can. That's a great way to put it. Yeah, same thing here. If there are 2 words that I can offer to listeners: organic, grass-fed. That's the best thing you can do as far as food goes. Look for organic, grass-fed foods that are not processed and full of seed oils. Yeah, because seed oils are killer. Yeah. And I should have come up with the list of seed oils. Oh. But like sunflower oil.
Grapeseed. Rapeseed. Cotton.
There are several. Yeah. Several oils. Well, I say that. Why do in my head I feel like there's 7.
I think that's right.
Are there 7?
Yeah,
okay.
That's just what
in my head. In my head I feel like there's 7. Yeah. But you're gonna find those in pretty much anything processed. They're in almost everything, so you can't avoid it 100%. You just can't. But you can opt for healthier choices like pasta made with quinoa or chickpeas or lentils instead of the regular pasta, because it's not that much more expensive and it's so much better for you. Yeah. I was gonna say, any organic fruits and veggies you can find are great.
I have a thing with fruits and veggies where if it like whatever goes into your mouth like was in the air, like if it's an apple, it needs to be organic, but if it's a banana and you're peeling off the outside part of the fruit, it doesn't have to be organic.
That's a good rule of thumb.
So avocados, banana, oranges, those don't need to be organic, but apples, berries, that's all organic.
That's really smart. That's a good thought. And then my husband eats a lot of meat, and I'm starting to, just because trying to eat more protein. I have like the past, I want to say 8 months, gotten more into it, which is good, but those, I feel like it's super important to eat those organic and get grass-fed beef and chicken and cage-free eggs and all of those. Those are little things that it feels overwhelming at first. So if we seem overwhelming, I apologize, but it feels overwhelming at first, but then you just get into this habit and it's really not that hard. Yeah. And you can find those things at Walmart. You can find those things at Whole Foods, and Rainbow Blossom and insane places, but you can find them at Costco and Walmart and Kroger. You can.
Trader Joe's.
You look hard enough. Trader
Joe's is a great place to go.
Yeah, Trader Joe's is really good.
Yeah.
But as far as boundaries with healthy living, I do try to stock my house with really clean, good foods. So it's really important to me that the foods in my house are good. Now, I say that there is a bag of Doritos in my home because I'm pregnant and I wanted Doritos. And so that's the 80-20 scrunchy lifestyle that you're talking about. It's important not to... It's important, and I'm talking to myself here, not to base your worth or calling yourself a quote-unquote good person or a good mom or a good woman or a good wife or man, whatever it is. It's important not to base your worth on how you're doing in regards to making good choices. And it's important for you to not let other people make you feel less than, because maybe you are at the beginning of your health journey and you're like, I don't eat organic or grass-fed, and I eat all processed foods, and I eat out a lot, and I'm just now learning about this, and I don't know what to do. That's totally fine. I've only been doing this trying to live more crunchy for about a year, and I've gotten real deep. So now I'm into EMF and like turning off the Wi-Fi and organic cotton clothes and clean soaps and only allowing, it's gotten really deep, which is really hard sometimes if I allow it to be, but it's just one step at a time. So give yourself time. It's been like over a year that I've been trying to slowly learn and slowly build up how just I'm living.
Go at your own pace, because everyone's different too. Like for me, I don't know, it just kind of started out with, well, I should probably eat organic. And then I got used to that, and it was like, all right, well, let's look at raw milk and what local meat I can get. And then it became, all right, I'm going to make my own soaps and stuff and, do more essential oils and all of that. And now I'm getting into PUFAs and all of that stuff.
Nice.
And we're diving into more, like, organic clothing. And, it's going to be at your own pace. If you're comparing it to others' journeys, that's just going to stress you out even more. And you're just going to be overwhelmed. And you can start out with small stuff. Like, I don't know, we did organic, but, like, I'm just now getting into, like, not drinking soda and doing probiotic sodas and kombucha instead of that or alcohol. And you can just do small stuff, and that's a really good step, too.
100%. No, that's really good. Yeah, you're wearing a super awesome organic one-size-fits-all, like, from this small-town business, and I'm wearing...
Olive & Co.
I'm wearing an $8 dress from Ross.
Hey, that's good. I mean, it's secondhand.
It's very comfy. I was going to say, there you go. It's secondhand. I'm, living the dream, being healthy.
Yeah.
So just get started, because it is worth it to start. I will say, don't look at all the information, all of the things, and be scared and be like, well, I'm just not going to do it at all, because that's how I tend to be. I'm an all or nothing person.
Yep.
But sometimes you can't be that way. You have to live 80-20. You have to do it most of the time. But we 100%, Keegan and I still go out to eat and eat Chick-fil-A and enjoy all those things.
Oh, yeah.
And make cookies. And
I still go to Starbucks.
You have to have coffee. I have to have my Center Goss.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good question.
That's a good question.
Okay. Let's do... Since we're on the topic of food... How do you know your gut health is poor? Wow, that came out strange. I'm going to take that over and we can cut that out. Since we're talking about food, how do you know your gut health is poor and when you should try to do something about it? That was another one we got. I wrote out my little signs.
Go for it.
Okay. So this is not everybody's signs. Everybody's story is different, but signs that something was up with my gut health, and I didn't even know that that's what it meant, was it got to the point where I was feeling pain or discomfort after eating or drinking anything. So it didn't matter if it was coffee. It didn't matter if it was a grape or a Dorito. I felt within 2 minutes immediately uncomfortable and needing to go to the bathroom very quickly. It was the worst. And I got used to it. That was the thing. When I finally talked to my doctor about everything, it was just interesting. Because I had just been like, well, honestly, that's just kind of how I started living. I was just kind of used to it. Another sign was I was constantly bloated, or bloated after eating hardly anything at all. Like a small side salad with nothing on it.
Yeah.
But I would wake up looking pregnant. I actually had someone ask me if I was pregnant once, which don't do that.
Don't do that.
But I had someone ask me, are you pregnant? Like, just curious. It's like, no, I'm bloated. I just have gut issues. I'm just bloated. So that was another sign. Food cravings. So my gut wasn't, if your gut health is poor, if you have leaky gut, which is what I have, your gut is not absorbing the nutrients that you're eating. So you could be eating a super clean, trying to be super healthy all the time, but you're still hungry constantly because your gut isn't absorbing the nutrients that you're eating. And so I would crave sugar or carbs all of the time because I felt exhausted because it wasn't absorbing anything. And so I needed a burst of energy. So my body was telling me, go eat sugar or carbs or something. That was actually very freeing to me. I felt very out of control and very much like it was my fault that I just wasn't doing good enough with my diet. And then to hear from this natural medicine doctor that she was like, your diet is the only thing that's holding you together, basically. She said, you must eat barely anything. It's like, I try. I try so hard to eat clean, but I do like cookies and red wine.
Yeah.
And so it made me feel better, understanding that it was not entirely my fault that my body was reacting against me. Another sign was poor sleep. So apparently your serotonin levels can be affected because melatonin is almost entirely created in the gut, which I had no idea. Very strange. But I've always had poor sleep, but it had increasingly gotten worse. And so that was another sign for me. And then the two last things that I noticed that were very strange, and this just kind of popped out of nowhere, or I guess, popped out of nowhere / started to build up, where I would wake up feeling like I had a mini sinus infection every day.
Ooh.
My sinuses were really affected. So I was constantly having like some sort of sinus headache or sniffling or sneezing. Didn't know what was up. I don't get allergies. So I was like, what is happening? And I had joint pain in my knees. So when I would run up the stairs, when I would go for my knees would really hurt. And everybody made fun of me because I was 22 years old with joint pain.
If your gut's inflamed, your muscles are going to be inflamed. Yeah.
And so I went to my doctor and she said, your infection that's started in your gut from your leaky gut, your infection has spread to your knees. And so you have reactive arthritis in your knees, which is why they hurt. And it has spread to your sinuses, which is why they're so inflamed and they're so out of whack. So all of those weird symptoms all had to do with my gut, but it wasn't my fault, which was the whack part.
Yeah.
So problems in the gut can be caused by lots of things. Diet, for sure. If you are constantly binge drinking or you're eating processed or sugary foods every day, all the time, that can slowly deteriorate your gut. I was not doing that, but I did start drinking alcohol, and so I do think that helped contribute to that. But I also had some traumatic things happen a couple years prior to this issue, and so trauma and unresolved emotional issues, all of those can send your gut into complete whack. So taking care of your mental health and all of those things are super important as well.
Yeah, especially I'll probably get the statistic wrong, so I won't even throw out the percentage, but a good chunk of most people's chronic illness comes from stress and trauma. And what I've learned from I have a chronic health therapist. What I learned is when you're a woman, you actually store trauma more than a man does. And so if you don't work through that stuff, it literally where your trauma is stored is in your gut.
That's Super interesting.
Yeah, and most of my issues are obviously in my gut, and so, but as I've worked through some of the stress or ways to manage that, my stomach issues are a lot better than they used to be.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah, it can be stress, it can be what you're eating. Yeah.
It can literally
be
anything. It can be anything, but if you are feeling off, if you are like, something is not right, don't shove it to the side. Don't try to excuse it, you know. Take some time, look into gut health and what you can do to help that, and we'll have some. I was going to say, I have another list of like things that helped, but I've talked for a minute, so you go.
I was going to say another huge one is just constant fatigue. Because I know for me, I mean, I'm tired 80% of the day. I've got like a little window of energy. And that can come from, like, I don't digest my food very well with my chronic health issues. But yeah, chronic fatigue or having no appetite at all. Yeah. That's my issue, is I eat like a bird. And I don't want food. Yeah. Or if you specifically feel nausea, but in your throat, not in your stomach. That can be a sign of gut issues too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Some things that helped if you're dealing with any of these gut issues. First, talk to a natural medicine doctor. That's what I'm going to recommend, to be honest with you. And we'll get into this with a different question down the road, but at least in my experience, doctors were addressing symptoms and not actually addressing the issues. And so go talk to a natural medicine doctor. And if you find one that's really great, they will not shove you to the side. Advocate for yourself, but ask them about what supplements can help. What can help fight the infection in your gut, or the parasites that are also going to contribute to what's going on in your gut.
I would also make sure that they're running the right tests. They're going to be very thorough with their blood tests, and a good natural doctor will teach you how to read your own blood tests and know what they mean.
Interesting.
Because if you have to go to a normal doctor for a blood test, you can read them yourself and understand if the doctor's a little bit off on, like, oh, that actually should be higher than the doctor's saying it should be. My natural doctor did that, and that changed a lot. Yeah. But yeah, a good naturopath or holistic doctor changes everything. Mine basically saved me from dying. Yeah. So. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That was something that I was surprised by when I found this natural doctor. Was I said, okay, give me a list of what I can't eat, what I can't do anymore. I'm good with lists. Let's go. And she said, no. The food is not the issue. You don't need to go on a diet. She said, what's the issue is your gut infection. What's going on there? It's your leaky gut. She was like, the food is not the issue. Your stomach just isn't digesting it. She said, so anything your body is eating right now, it's not digesting it well. And so fighting the actual infection, the actual gut issues, that is what is going to help. And that's what helped with me. And so we can't prescribe anything because we're not doctors, and it gets too complicated with dosage and stuff like that.
Everybody's deficient in different things because I mean, especially if you have something like parasites, and that's why you have gut
parasites
issues.
If you have an animal, you have parasites, just FYI. If you have a dog or cat or something, you have parasites.
If you go out in nature, you have parasites.
Everybody's got them. For me, in general, helping your sleep is going to be huge. So making sure you get quality sleep is going to be amazing. For me, this is how extra I am. Now when I go to sleep, I have to put lavender, like essential oil, on my little trigger spots. I have to put in earplugs, put on an eye mask, lay down with a weighted blanket, and that's how I'm able to sleep. And I still wake up once or twice in the middle of the night. That's just, but anything that you can do to increase your sleep and make it better is going to be great. Try not to take melatonin, though, because your body can become very dependent on the melatonin, and then it needs it to fall asleep. There is
non-addictive melatonin.
Oh, that's good to see. I didn't even know that.
I think it comes from green tea. I'll have to link one. I do CBD oil. That's a game changer. Yeah. And then I
might try that.
CBD
honest
oil
goodness,
is really good.
After this, I don't know if you can take it when you're pregnant, but
THC free is fine.
THC free, I might try that, to be honest. My sleep has been so bad. I might get a recommendation from you.
I actually do. What's it called? I just lost it. Oh, a sleep hypnotist.
Do you really?
I do.
That's cool.
She's great.
I kind of want to do that.
I'll send you the podcast.
That sounds really cool.
She's amazing.
Yeah, send me. Do you just listen to the podcast?
You just listen to her, and I literally fall asleep before she usually even does the full practice.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
See, I've had terrible sleep recently, even with all of my things that I've tried. So these are great.
She's great too because I wake up a million times in the middle of the night, like 3 to 5. Yeah, and with her, it's like I can go back to where I fell asleep and just continue, and then do that every time.
Waking up 3 times a night is the minimum for me. It's like 5 or 6 times I'm up. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Well, and that can also be hormonal issues, so I'm trying to balance that out too, like using all these tinctures for my hormones and all that fun stuff.
100%.
I don't know if you could hear my stomach just...
It's very excited with your Olipop. Or is that an Olipop?
It's Poppy.
Oh, Poppy, that's another good probiotic soda. So are Olipops. Those, hey, start drinking some Olipops and some Poppies.
One thing that does help with sleep and leaky gut and all of that is balancing out probiotics and prebiotics.
Oh my goodness, that is the one thing I'll prescribe you. I'm not a doctor.
I 100%
take a probiotic.
Suggest live liquid probiotic.
Okay. Interesting.
Otherwise, like the pill form, it's not live, so it doesn't actually work that well.
Okay. Yeah. That's good to know. That is good to know. And I will say, I know we talked about how foods are not the issue with like your gut issues. Most of the time, that's very true. There are foods that you can eliminate or reduce in your life just to create a healthier lifestyle.
Yes.
And the 2 biggest things that you can do are alcohol and like seed oils. Getting rid of those in your life.
There are definitely some things where it's like you really shouldn't be eating that at all. Even sugar, I try and not do a ton of sugar. Yeah, because if you have parasites,
processed sugar. We're not talking about apples and stuff like that.
And I bake with organic sugar, but I try and make sure that's not a ton.
Some people like, and I know that this is kind of up in the air, but monk fruit and stevia are like options that you can do to switch out for regular sugar.
I do stevia.
Have you tried monk fruit?
I don't like monk fruit.
Really?
It's got a funky taste to it.
Oh, see, I don't mind
coconut sugar. I like coconut sugar.
Coconut sugar is good. Yep. So there are lots of things that you can do, and it is not hard to live like this in this day and age, to be honest with you. Just a quick Google.
You know what? Jordan Dooley, do you know her?
Yeah.
She has a really great holistic bundle thing of like how to just start out.
Oh, cool.
I might try and find that and link it because that's a good starter.
Another person that I'm going to link, and this is specifically for women who are in your 20s to 30s. I'm going to link my health coach, and I actually DM'd her, so I hope it's okay that we're linking her. Her name is Emily, and her Instagram and her podcast is Little Ray of Health, and I'll link it in the podcast. And she was a game changer for me.
She's awesome.
She does a deep dive into your menstrual cycle and your diet and all of these things that are just incredible, and it really helped me. I really started to follow what she was saying and what she was doing, and I saw big changes in my lifestyle. So she's the best. I love her. Shout out to Emily. Maybe one day we can get cool enough to where we can get her on our podcast. That would be so cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, she's wonderful. Okay, so that was the gut question, and that was a good question. We're not going to be able to get to all these. We have so many good ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this one. How would you define health? And what is the biggest red flag in the healthcare field? Do you want to start?
Oh, which one? Man,
ready
how would
for Grace to pop off?
I know. How would I define health? I think health is when you kind of like what we talked about. You're just doing your best and figuring out what works for you. Doing your best with your diet and noticing the differences. Like even for me recently, it's super small, but I found out I handle coffee really well if I do oat milk.
Okay.
Like no stomach pain or anything.
Because you didn't used to be able to do coffee
I can't do coffee. And I started doing oat milk and like don't go to the bathroom right after I drink it. Like my stomach's all good.
Nice.
And that's like a game changer for me because I don't process food well at all.
Right.
Like none of it. So when I find stuff like that, that's really big for me. And so I think it's just doing what's best for you and figuring out what that is. It doesn't even necessarily mean you're healthy 24/7 or your body completely feels great, but you're finding the stuff that helps it feel better. I think is what healthy is for me, at least. Because I have 3 autoimmune diseases, and so
what are those autoimmune diseases?
I have celiac disease, so I'm allergic to wheat. I have ulcerative colitis, which is my biggest one, and that is a disease in my colon, so I don't digest stuff well at all. And then I have type 1 diabetes. So just kind of, they call it the terrible 3. Yeah, so I just have 3 crazy diseases that very much affect my body and diet. And so for me, it's just like finding stuff that doesn't spike my blood sugar, but my body also handles really well, or as best as it can. And not feeling like I'm dying after I eat. So I think my definition of healthy is a little bit simple for me.
I was gonna say, and that's not simple at all. It's, I think, yeah, it's not a complicated question, but it is at the same time, because health does look different in every person, because every person is made different and dealing with different things. So there isn't one definition that's like, you're healthy if you look and feel and live like this.
Yeah, because I mean, healthy used to just be like you were skinny. And
well, that was a terrible time.
A horrible
90s.
time. Don't
that was
miss
so
that.
bad. We're not going back.
Oh, please no. I feel like it is kind of nice now that, at least in my group of people, it's like healthy means you actually have a little bit of weight to you, and you know, it's about how you feel more than how you look.
I think healthy is when you are at the place where you are not constantly thinking about what you're eating, how much you should be working out, and if you're doing it all well, and what else you can be doing.
That's
I think
good.
when you're in a place where you are just living, where you have an equal balance of, I'm enjoying my life, but I'm also going to have self-control, and I don't want to do a workout. I'll go for a walk. You know, I feel
yoga.
like exactly,
Yeah.
or nothing at all.
Yeah.
Maybe the best thing you can do to serve your body that
Just
day is to
laying
take a
down
nap.
resting. Yeah.
I think you are at your healthiest when you are not obsessing, when you're not thinking, and when you feel comfortable in your skin. When you feel comfortable. I will say, that's not to put pressure. There were a lot of people that used to tell me that, like, you just need to feel comfortable in your skin. And for like 4 years, I never felt comfortable in my skin. Not one day. And I look back at those pictures now, like, I was so thin and lovely.
Yeah.
But I felt so hideous and ugly and fat. And so I don't say that to put pressure on you. But I do think that you should try to give yourself some grace and allow yourself to feel comfortable in your skin.
Yeah.
You know, I think I used to trick myself into thinking I didn't look as good as I felt.
Yeah.
Because then if someone mentioned it, it wouldn't hurt and I wouldn't feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
It was like a protective thing that I was doing. But if you feel good, just allow yourself to feel good. Don't feel like you need to defend it or anything like that. But that's what I would say health looks like, is when you don't have to think about it as much.
Yeah, that's good. That's true.
And then I'll let you answer this one. What's your biggest red flag in the healthcare industry? There are a lot.
Healthcare industry. Does that more mean... Because that could go towards doctors in healthcare, or that could go towards, like, all the fads we have diet-wise?
Ooh. Let's see if we can tackle both.
Okay. God. Okay. I am not a fan of doctors who really think it's all about the medicine you're taking versus what's going in your body.
We are in an over-medicated.
And I'm not like a huge like conspiracy theorist with the pharmacy stuff, just because as a type 1 diabetic and a UC patient, like I need medication. Like it's just part of the deal. But food is healing. God gave us food first. And our food is very corrupt, so it's hard to find healing in food. And that's where you do sometimes have to do a little bit more. Ooh, sorry. Don't mind the West End neighbors. Yeah, so sometimes that is where you have to do more research of where your food is coming from. At least for me, it's like, where's it sourced? And does it actually have the nutrients I need? And if it doesn't, like, what supplements do I need to fuel my body in the way it needs? But yeah, doctors who are fully like, no, you just need this medication and it should fix you, really bugs me. It bugs, and I say that with a doctor, like a GI doctor who is that way. And that's where it's good to have a natural doctor for me too, to balance that out, because it's like they can look at what my doctor's giving me and then be like, okay, this is how we balance it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a huge red flag for me. Or even just doctors who listen to your symptoms but don't take it seriously.
Literally, yes.
With my I also have PCOS, and
same.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
We both do.
It's a fun club.
And we actually have the same OBGYN too, and she's amazing.
Oh, I love her.
She's so great with even just hearing about what holistic stuff we do, and is totally down with it. But her nurses, who I see more than I see her, just want to cover all my symptoms with birth control.
Nope.
That bugs the crap out of me.
Nope.
I mean, every time I go with a new PCOS issue, it's like, oh, well, we could give you some birth control for the week to slow down your bleeding, or like whatever. And I'm just like, I've told you a million times, it should probably be on my file by now that I don't do birth control.
Yep.
And they just don't listen every time.
We have a whole question about PCOS that we can get into and talk all about that.
But yeah, that's another one. Just sometimes, you know, they're really good at making it sound like they're listening to you and your issues, but they're also not really putting in the work to figure out what's going on. They just have Band-Aids for your symptoms, and that bugs me, because there's always something bigger with what's going on with your symptoms.
That was going to be my answer, was doctors address and fix symptoms, not the actual issue.
Yeah.
Because it's easier and faster.
Yeah.
And you can just slap a medication on it.
Yeah.
And be done.
I think with general red flags, I'm so tired of diets.
Tired of diets.
I'm tired of diets.
Stop,
and
y'all.
it gets worse. Just now we have social media, so you just see video after video of like the next best thing, or all these supplements you need to try. And like, I am a supplement person. I take a lot of supplements, but it's like simple. Like, you take omega-3 and iron. You don't need all these like fancy, I don't know, or these elixirs that people are like, drink it. And
the best thing you can do is to modify your diet.
Stay natural. Get your nutrients from the source.
Don't go on a diet.
Yes.
I'm kind of anti-diet now.
Yeah, I'm definitely more like, natural sources, fruits and vegetables, meat, keep it simple. Because like, even one of my old natural doctors tried doing the paleo thing, but then the more I researched paleo, I was like, wow, I'm going to be deficient in a lot of nutrients and he had me on 12 different supplements.
I remember when you were like, I'm going to try paleo. I was like, great. I'm so happy to hear this.
I'm so cringing on the inside.
Wanting to shove meat down your throat.
I gave it a few months and I was like, nope, I'm good. So I hate when people are like, oh, you should try this diet.
You should try intermittent fasting. You should try the keto diet. You should.
Keto is great for losing weight.
It is, but it's not sustainable. You can't live like that.
Definitely not for a long time.
No, you can't live like it. That's the thing. I'm anti-diet because I feel like I've always been on one, or feeling like I needed to be on one, and constantly unhappy with my body. And the happiest I am is when I'm walking, when I'm living a clean lifestyle, but allowing myself to enjoy my life. That's when my husband says I'm also my most mentally just at peace and healthy as well. So I'm anti-diet because I do not believe that any diet is actually sustainable forever, and then you just end up feeling bad about yourself if you fail. That is not to say that we shouldn't have self-control.
Right.
Please don't hear what I'm saying and then go out and eat whatever you want all day every day, because that's not healthy. That's not good for you.
Well, and I think for me, like, what I do is, God gives us certain vegetables in certain seasons, and I'm kind of a big believer on like eating seasonal fruits and vegetables. And I've learned even with that, my body does a lot better, because it's like I've noticed those fruits and vegetables have the nutrients I need in that time. Especially in winter, like a lot of the vegetables you eat in the winter have vitamin D in it, which lessens depression and all of that. Or even in the summer, you don't probably need as much vitamin D, but maybe more vitamin C, and all the fruits you get in that season are full of that. So I'm really into eating whatever's in season, and that's about as close to a diet as I get.
That's smart. No, that's good. For me, since I'm a woman in my 20s, the most I would get to a diet was eating according to my cycle. And we can't get into that because there's so much information there. But certain foods are better for you and provide you with what your female body needs during different seasons of your cycle.
Yeah.
I also wanted to put this at the beginning of the episode. Maybe we can splice it in. If not, that's totally fine. But yeah, I wanted to put this at the beginning of the episode to men. For men, please don't tune out because we're mainly talking to women of our age, because you want to know how to support women who are like going through all of this. And there are a lot of good things for you guys here too that you need to learn, that you need to do to take care of yourself, because men are just as much victims of diet culture and like body image issues and health issues and all of those things.
I'm so not knowledgeable as much on the men's health though, because you know, men's bodies do work very differently than women's bodies. I mean, it's been put to me in the sense of like women's bodies are more like the moon with their cycles, and it changes every day, even with our energy. And the men are very much like the sun, where it's like you rise and then you're good, and then you restart the next day.
Yeah. All things though, like eating organic and grass, all those things are still very much applicable to men. Sure.
Supplements, that's all important.
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah.
Okay, we still have a few. Okay, in the world of all of the things and quick fixes, how have you actually dealt with PCOS or gut issues? So we addressed the gut issues. Now we can go on to the PCOS. First thing is to get rid of birth control immediately. I can't stress. I really can't stress that enough. And I know what you're going to say. You're like, okay, well, I know, but I just want to be honest. I can't stress enough how bad it is for you and how much it is messing you up, and how much it is a lie that has been sold to us that is beneficial, but it is not. It does not lessen your periods. It does not make it easier. It stops your cycles. It interrupts the natural flow of your womanly body, and it is super toxic to you. So please get rid of birth control. Please get rid of birth control.
Yeah, I think it blocks everything inside of us that we're meant to be. And it even, I mean, if you're, you know, a woman with a male, I mean, it blocks off whatever hormone that attracts men to you.
Does it really?
It does.
That's kind of cool.
I don't remember what that's called.
But that's like just interesting.
It's not endorphins, but yeah, whatever that hormone is. It blocks off all receptors, and it just, I don't know, it just messes with your system. I don't even have the scientific words for why it's so bad for you. I'm serious, get off of it.
I was on it for a couple years, and I think that started a lot of my issues that I had to slowly get off of. And I even was on a non-hormonal IUD for a couple years, and that, it still freaks you up. The copper IUD does. And then I tried hormonal birth control one more time for 4 months, and that was it. I couldn't do it because it was messing me up so bad. It was bad.
I was on hormonal birth control for a very short amount of time, but I got acne for the first time in my life. I gained a ton of weight. That was really hard to lose. My periods actually got worse. And like we tried like the 50-50 where it's like progesterone and estrogen, but then we just tried progesterone. Like none of it was good.
None of it's good. None of it's good, guys.
And no judgment if you use birth control. Like
there's a little bit of judgment here, but it's judgment and love. That's
because we love you and we want you to be healthy.
That's me. If me in a caption, Piper, loving judgment.
Yeah.
Loving judgment. I was going to say.
Instead of loving kindness, loving judgment.
There's actually no judgment here, but there is a strong desire for me to throw away all your birth control pills because they're very bad. Anyway, moving on. Strength training and walking. Those are great things. If you have PCOS, and I won't get into the whole situation, but cardio adds more stress to your body. So don't get rid of cardio, because what I heard was I never have to move again. I'm so excited. And that's not what that means. You still need to go on walks. You still need to do things like hike. You still need to be active and move your body because it's very good for you and it's good for your heart. But for PCOS, trying to make yourself go for 45-minute runs, even just 3 or 4 times a week, is going to mess you up some more. So really strength training. And I'm not talking like you need to become a bodybuilder and lift these giant weights. I lift very small weights when I did lift them for a short period of time, and I took a break during pregnancy because you're not supposed to lift a lot of weights, but lift weights or use your own body weight. Look up workouts you can do from home in a peaceful environment. Basically anything you can do to lower the stress that's already spiking in your body. Strength training and walking are huge, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Making sleep a priority. That's going to help you a lot with your PCOS as well. Sleep just helps everything. That's the main thing you need to do if you have issues going on with your health, is try to make yourself get intentional sleep more.
Yep.
One for me that helped with PCOS was focusing on my mental health. I was obsessive with my physical appearance, my health. Poor Keegan, LOL. When I was trying to figure all of this out, and taking a break and allowing myself to do what I needed to do during that time, and go for walks and strength train, yes, but take time to take care of my mental health so I wasn't putting all of this pressure on myself. Spending time in prayer. Walking outside, taking breaks from podcasts and self-improvement, which is really hard for me.
Social media breaks are a great idea.
They are a great idea. They really are. Diving into healthy hobbies. So if you're artsy, you want to paint and journal more, do it. Turn off the TV and take some more time to do things like that. Read a book, spend time with friends, doing something active, doing something outside. All of these things are really good for you. Spending time in the sun. All these things. Eating food, real, organic, grass-fed, non-processed food. It's doable. You can do it. All of these things are huge for PCOS.
For sure.
And then there are some supplements that you can take for PCOS that I'm trying to think of, but those actually did start helping me. Inositol, is that how you pronounce it?
I don't even know that one.
Inositol.
I think I did ashwagandha for PCOS.
What did you do?
Ashwagandha.
I don't even know what that is. I took inositol and CoQ10 and all of these things you can just get at Walgreens.
And there are like essential oil mixtures you can get that are really helpful for like ovary health and uterine health. We use Rocassa. There's a lot you can do.
So all of those things. PCOS is not very fun. It took me forever to actually get diagnosed, and that's just a whole nother story. But when I find the OB that Grace and I share now, I went into my very first appointment with her, and she took one look at my chart and said, "Yeah, you have PCOS." Y'all, I'd been trying to get people to tell me for probably a year and a half.
Wow.
And just constant blood tests and, well, we're not sure and we can't guarantee. Took this doctor one look. She was like, yeah. This and this are elevated. Not a ton, but slightly. And you have cysts on your ovaries. So, you do.
Yep.
Super easy.
Sure is.
Okay. And then, let's see. Grace, this would throw it over to you. Navigating your autoimmune disease in motherhood. Someone asked you specifically. What does that look like?
Oh, dear. I feel like I'm barely navigating it, to be honest. Because for me, since having Ruth, my health has just gotten a lot worse, actually. My pregnancy was actually pretty great. I think that was the healthiest I'd felt in a couple years. But after that, things just kind of went downhill. My PCOS got a lot worse, so hormones have just been out of whack. And I think I'm just now getting a grasp on that with diet and doing the essential oils that I do and some supplements, and doing a little bit better at knowing how to feed my body depending on my cycle and all of that. Dealing with ulcerative colitis, it's just, that's where it's just kind of out of control. Just because, I don't know, I go to the hospital, like, feels like once a month these days. And so it's really just, Steven's been a huge help, because he works from home, and so I think we've gotten a good schedule of, like, Steven deals with her in the morning until he has to work, which gives me extra time to rest. And then I have her throughout the day, but I get a good break for her nap times and just letting myself rest whenever I can. And also just, like, I don't know, learning to not be hard on myself when I can't do a lot with her. Just because I feel like sometimes when you're a mom with a toddler, it's like you see all these Montessori moms who are, like, doing a million things a day with their kids. And then I'm just sitting here, and we've maybe read a few books, and then we're on to Miss Rachel. So yeah, it's learned a lot, like, just being graceful with myself. And my chronic health therapist that I've probably mentioned a million times in this episode already has been crazy helpful with that, of just, like, what that looks like, and just encouraging me that when you're this sick, you can't really be in a season of contentment because you're just so ill all the time, and that's okay. So yeah, it's been just figuring out what boundaries I can have with myself so I'm not too tired throughout the day. And then when I do have energy, just using that time to enjoy Ruth. And yeah, I don't know if that was a good answer.
No, that was a really good answer.
Yeah, it's just, and it's different every day. Like, I can't plan for a lot. It's just like, all right, well, what do I have the energy for today?
Yeah.
I do that. Yeah.
I think that'll be really encouraging to some moms out there who are going through the same thing.
Yeah, it's hard because I think especially on social media, moms will talk about that they quote unquote struggle, and I'm not judging that, but I'm also like, okay, but I'm seeing
you really
I'm seeing you post every day what you do with your kid. Like, you know, some moms are truly just super moms, and their struggle looks very different from me, where it's like I literally can't do anything. Like, if I need to go run an errand, I can't take Ruth with me because I don't have the energy for it. So, you know, usually I either have to rely on Steven to go run an errand, or I use up her nap time to do what I can. And it looks like me hardly being able to clean our house sometimes because I'm so fatigued in a day. I mean, yeah, I've been hospitalized over 12 times in the last year, just with ulcerative colitis. And yeah, and so sometimes I look at mom struggles and I'm like, kind of wish I had that struggle. Like, I would take that over what I deal with. But I also got to remind myself we all struggle differently, and just got to be graceful with that too.
That's inspiring to hear that. I think that you're kind of in the middle of this hard time, but you're still, you know, looking at it and saying, like, yes, this is really hard, and I am really struggling. But I also know that everyone else struggles in their own way. It just looks different. But and it's good for me to hear, you know, if I'm complaining about a day-to-day thing or something, just to remember that it's like, that's really hard though. And like, I really shouldn't be complaining about this, you know. Well, we are out of time because this is running into a long episode. So sorry about that, but hope you all enjoy.
Yeah.
Sorry we couldn't get to all of the questions, but we got to most of them. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Follow us on What Do You Think Pod on Instagram. We're on Spotify and Apple Music.
Yep.
And then we'll try to link in this episode
as much as we can.
Yeah, we're gonna look up to make sure we're not pirating anything, or it's not illegal for us to do that. But we will try to link some of the things that we have mentioned today for people to try.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, thanks for joining us. See you next time.
We will see you next time.